Okay, so villains, almost everything has to be a villain. We only vote for the villains. We hate everyone else. We have to have revenge. We have to murder people. Or we vote for the villain and we're like, now murder the hero. Make him die. Make him suffer. Because he clearly did not suffer at all. He needs to be punished for being blessed and having a good life and having no trauma. You have to have trauma. You have to be extremely traumatized. And there was like, oh, okay, do not watch Redo Hero. And like some of, like maybe like later seasons, they'd call it like dark anime, and they might not be able to handle some of the yandere anime. Happy Sugar Life was like okay, but I was like, she does commit murder, and so does her mother, and then she commits suicide, and she does beat the shit out of people and does try and murder them, and then does threaten people, in Happy Sugar Life, and then it's very toxic in Future Diaries, and then we just try and attack each other and kill each other. Oh, I think we're gonna have to talk about TV shows and me skipping those again because you know what, we'll shove it in here. Okay, so for not watching things and reading the order, like oh, just like those few times. No, not really. Okay, so let's talk Supernatural, like 15 and 16 series seasons. It's long, dramatic, and almost all the fucking first season is fucking trash. I feel like it's not interesting at all. Okay, and then so you do what? You read in all the episodes and you see any of the episodes that describes Castiel, sorry. Because I was talking about before Dark Anime Redo of Hero and Black Butler. Those are very dark. And then you'd be like, oh, but like they were traumatized and like they're getting revenge. You like agree with them and you like defend them, but you're like, hey, you need to remember that, like, they are going too far, and that they are evil, and they're not trying to be fucking heroes, and that their goal is just fucking revenge, and they don't give a damn about anyone else, and they're not trying to save people, they're not trying to make fucking friends, they're no fucking hero. It's the fucking villain, and they're a villain. Yeah, but you also made everyone else, like, horrible, obviously. Like in Vincent. We have the antagonist. He's a fucking villain, he's a mafia. Italian mafia guy who took care of shit. Yeah, he was a lawyer. And he also beat the shit out of people and killed them and took care of the mafia's problems. That's what he did. He was number 2. The boss and everybody just gave orders, and then he's like, hey, we got these problems. We got traitors. Go and find them and fucking kill them. And hey, yeah, you know, our problem next door, you know, I need to kill people. He's the most trusted, so he goes out and he kills people and takes care of people, and he goes with groups and everything. He takes care of the problems. He gets rid of them. And then he goes, and then he finds horrible people, and he gets revenge, and he tortures them brutally and murders them. And I'm like, yes! And other people would be like, and in some cases, in like Radio Hero, would be like, you went too far, because they were like all that, like, creepy thing. But I was like, they did that to you, so they do deserve it. So I'm like, yeah. I'm really just defending them. I'm just like, I was like, but you are going too far. And I was like, I would do it differently. I would just murder them over and over again. Mostly because I found out that was an option. I found a manga that did that. He fucking didn't actually have to bring him back from the dead all the time. But there was, like, Demon King School or whatever, where he did that. There was an anime that did that. I was like, you are a fucking demon lord. And I watch all demon lords and overlords. I was like, yes. We are fucking monsters, and you know that from the get-go. You know we're the fucking villain, and we're voting for you, and we love you. And it's perfectly fine that you fucking brutally murder people and torture people. We are fine with that. We are happy about that. We cheer that on, and we accept that. We vote for that. That's what we want. And then, obviously, you have, like, traumatic past to add on to it, to be, like, as an excuse. Because you have to have a fucking personality. And if it wasn't trauma, you didn't have a bunch of trauma. I wasn't like, and now you do not deserve to murder because you're not fucking hot and you didn't have trauma and you didn't think it was like a video game before or whatever. Yeah, they're real people now, but we don't really give a shit. Okay. Next, does not care. At all. Yeah, we vote for the fucking villains. Okay, we were talking about... Oh, TV shows and TV series. Okay, that I skipped. Okay, so we, Vampire Diaries, we saw, like, the first episode, and we're like, it's kind of a rip-off of Twilight, and we kind of don't want to deal with it, we kind of don't want to dive into it deep with it, and it's the fucking BS trash, and then we watched just a couple, like, things of being, like, the bad boy is, Damon, and we just watched a few of his seasons, not his seasons, a few episodes of him, mostly just a compilation randomly online. About him being a bad boy, and then we watched, we saw a glimpse of her losing her humanity, turning off her humanity, so we went onto the series, And we found all those episodes, and we watched all those, and then she turned back to normal, and we only like the dark side. They're like, oh, you get a dark side, like in Tokyo Ghoul. Happens really early on, so then I like him. I hated the fucking bitch beforehand. Then he goes on a date with a monster who almost fucking murders him, and then afterwards, so he turns out to be a half monster, basically just becomes a monster, and then later in season 2 becomes a cannibal. So obviously we fucking love him now. He's the fucking monster, and he got fucking hot, because he got hot. Because he got brutally tortured to death, and he almost died the first time too. So it wasn't like, oh, you almost died, and you almost murdered by a monster, and you barely survived, and you got the body parts, and now you gotta learn. Yeah. He wasn't just like, oh, you just like barely survived, you almost died. No, now you got monster body parts, and you have to struggle not to eat people. And now, you have to be brutally tortured and hunted down. And now, you have to deal with even more hunters, and deal with the fact that you are more and more monster, and that you are a cannibal and eat your own kind. Your own monsters. You eat other monsters. And you are becoming more and more stronger, and you have more monster parts, and you're just a full monster. You don't have any humanity left at all. There may or may not have been third season, but I don't give a damn. I was like, you are a cannibal. I learned everything about you. You have become the pig. I don't care anymore. And he had to become brutally tortured and like become full of scars and had all of his limbs ripped off and slowly cut off. All his fingers and toes slowly chopped off. You're like, you can't do gore, so how do you do that? But I was like, you do not see guts or blood. Well, you do see blood. We like blood. We can't do fucking guts and body parts. It's fucking gross. Yeah, no. Yeah, the human body. It's fucking gross. It has so much shit in it. So much fat and yeah, it's just fucking gross. Okay, so many fucking organs and all that shit. And then also, like, we had seen quite a bit of, Grey's Anatomy, so we built up our gore a little bit. But we still can't do it hardcore. And also, it's animated, so it's even more pixelated and everything, so it's a lot better. Okay, yeah, no, but, he was brutally murdered, so he's awesome. No, but when he was skipped around and everything, it's the dark side. I only like it when the dark side, and then they become good again, and so I said, F you, fuck you, no. So in reality, for Vampire Diaries, I only watched the first episode, the first maybe 2 episodes, or maybe not even the first episode, maybe like the first 5 minutes, then it was fucking done. And then, like, maybe 3 episodes about her losing humanity. But they let into that so fast. I think it was 3 episodes. Maybe it was 2 or only fucking 1. It was so disappointing. And then I never watched it again. And then there was just, like, random clips here and there, but that was fucking it. Because in those, like, random clips, I found, the originals, and then I did not watch that, like, at all. For the most part, I watched maybe, like, the first episode of one, but I just watched Klaus. I found Klaus, and I watched all of him, and then maybe he was, like, showing up a few too many times, because, like, he's, like, a villain. And so, obviously, we vote for him, and we only give a shit about him. And then we watched the episodes about his daughter, or just about his baby, because there were just too many episodes with him in it. And then we watch all of Legacies. And then for Supernatural, we just watch all the ones that have Castiel, and then Castiel basically dies, and then, so we just watch Jack. We just do all the episodes with Jack. And then you're like, oh, but, like, technically, ow, fuck, my legs are up. I know, I gotta put them down. Technically, you missed some that had, like, Castiel or Jack in it. Okay, my music disappeared, that's what happened. Okay. But like, technically, you missed one because fucking randomly they'll throw in one that's all about Castiel or all about Jack, just randomly. And a few that'll be like, oh, Castiel or Jack's in it, and they're not in it at all. So, but it kind of evens out, and I kind of don't give a shit, and I can just make up shit to fill in the gaps that I have now. I don't give a shit about it at all. So I can 100% skip around, for everything and anything. But yeah, so for Dark Anime, yeah, you have fucking, yeah. And you know, it's not like a fucking surprise. I know they're evil from the get-go. Okay, and then obviously for Yandere, I hate the fucking main character, and I'm like, yeah, you do deserve to die, because you keep fucking hanging out with the fucking psycho. And you do die, duh, bitch. So fucking stupid. Yeah. But that's for Future Diaries. And then, but like, those Yandere ones would also be considered, like, dark animes. They're just more like my standard, and only in those, and only in, like, Black Butler do I feel like sometimes, and only sometimes, I'm like, oh, you kind of went a little bit too far, but then I'm like, hey, there's a fucking villain. So they didn't. And I'm also like, you went through trauma. That was valid. I was like, mostly, well, actually, not valid. And like, that is too far, even if it's revenge. But they earned it, and they deserve the revenge, so I'm still defending you, and as long as we remember you're evil, then be like, yeah, 100%. Go You can never go too far. And redo Healer and redo of Healer. Redo of Healer. I hate words. Okay, it's not happening. And then, but for, they'd be like, oh, you might try to talk me out of, not Phantom Hive, but that's his name. See how Phantom Hive being like, oh, but he, like, earned revenge and whatever, everything. He burned children. I also I read the manga and the anime. He did it twice. He just lights all of the children above. He's supposed to save children. It's his fucking job. He's supposed to go out and find the missing children and save them. Or at least, like, bring back their dead bodies to their families so they can bury them and mourn them. No, he doesn't. He just like, and burn everything alive. That's what he always does. He just burn everything. You're like, but technically he didn't do it. He ordered his fucking demon to do it. And if his demon didn't do it, he would have done it himself. He would have fucking burned them all alive. But you're like, oh, but they were traumatized. And, like, back then, they, like, don't have resources. They don't have, like, therapy. And they don't have medications. And they might never be able to recover. And they already believe that they're fucking dead. Yeah, but some of them were just fucking kidnapped and weren't fucking touched. And maybe some could still recover. And maybe some would be like him, go through trauma and shit. And be like, now I choose revenge to push through and make myself be able to move on and carry out my day. And just be able to get shit done. And then they're like, oh, it's obvious, like, in, like, the anime, but in, like, the manga, he was 100% truthful. He's like, yeah, I say I'm getting revenge for my parents. That's fucking trash. I'm lying. I'm getting revenge for me. Because you fucking hurt me. I don't give a fucking damn that you killed my parents. Because they're fucking dead, so you can't hurt them anymore. But that hurt me. You hurt me. I'm gonna fucking kill you because you hurt me. I'm gonna brutally torture you, and I'm gonna fucking murder everyone. Because you hurt me. You pissed me the fuck off. So you will all fucking die. And that's what he does, and that's how he is. And it's fucking honest and straight up. And it's no fucking bullshit. And he says that after he has to relive his trauma over and over again and finally overcome it. And he always gets eaten by his demon. Because he's like, hey, you're not fucking recovering, and you're not doing this, and your soul isn't really focused on revenge anymore, but you're also obviously evil and tainted, and you still, like, hurt people and everything like that. So, it's still gonna be tasty, and it's definitely not pure. It's gonna be nice and tasty, but it's not gonna be as nice as it would be if you continued with your revenge and you got your revenge. And you continued because you're gonna continue down your evil path and to do more things and order me to kill and hurt more people. Yeah. So, yeah. Okay, yeah. I was like, some of those children were just kidnapped and were not fucking touched, and they were not really murdered, and not all of them were fucking traumatized yet, and some of them maybe, like, were hurt maybe just a little bit so they could still recover, and some would be like, hey, I still want to fucking live, and shit happened to me, but I'm not gonna let that control me, and I'm gonna fucking take people out because you hurt me, or whatever, you know? We reacted violently, because that's the solution. You must hate the people who love you. Because they say you love you, but they are really just hurting you, and they're all just liars. And they don't really love you, and they do hate you, and you love them, and they obviously took advantage of you, and when you open your heart, they hurt you more and more. And even when you do hate them, they still find ways to hurt you. So you will forever hate them, and you can never forgive them. Okay, that's personal issues. Yeah, but yeah, so we will always and forever vote for the villain, but, like, the villain can't be like, oh, I have a traumatic past, so I'm just gonna fucking kill people because I feel like it. No, I'm like, you gotta mostly kill evil people. Gotta be bad people. Mostly kill bad people. But you're obviously not perfect, and you're effed up. And even if you only killed evil people, that would still, like, might hurt some good people. And you might, like, mess up, and you might hurt some innocent people. But you kind of don't really give a fuck. And you're still a little bit more effed up, and you're more honest, and you're more of a true villain, so you're gonna kill more bad people than innocent people. And you're not going out of your way to kill innocent, harmless people. You might be going out of your way to kill evil people. Or you might not be. You might just kill anyone who pisses you off. And it might almost end up like half, or maybe accidentally end up killing more innocents than bad people, but I was like, you killed bad people, I don't care. My standards are so low. And I'm also like, I'm watching this, you must destroy everyone. And also, like, the whole deal with, like, the heroes not getting rid of the problem and not actually solving the solution, because I'm sorry, the solution is they must die. Otherwise, the problem's gonna pop up again. Oh, yeah. And then, Werewolf, Teen Wolf, because I remember that conversation. I was gonna make that video. But no. Teen Wolf, okay, they do not want you to use realism or be realistic at all in movies and things and books. Because I can find the solution for everything. And everyone can. It takes you 5 minutes to be like, hey. And also, there's no fucking consistency in that movie, like, in that TV series at all. Because they're like, oh, you change it to a werewolf, so you grow a little bit of hair on your face, and your face becomes a little bit ugly. It, like, changes its shape the tiniest bit. And you grow a little bit of fucking claws. And your teeth grow a little bit sharper. And that's fucking it. That is your transformation for a fucking werewolf. And then they'll be like, oh, and now randomly this one dude can now fucking turn into a fucking wolf. Into a real wolf. And then other ones can turn into this giant wolf that mostly is like a bear and can fucking walk on 2 legs. And other ones can still like talk or morph into other fucking things. It just makes zero sense. Oh, that's what we were gonna probably debate about in Abigail. Horror movie. Complaints, because it's not a fucking vampire. Okay, yeah. No, but, like, they don't want anything illogically at all, and I even like the villains even more, because I was like, you were the only smart one, and be like, this is the fucking solution, I can use a fucking gun and shoot you. And, like, even in that, I'm like, you don't even, fucking arrows were also, like, fucking shit. Like, you should never fucking use an arrow. Unless, like, maybe you get them in the fucking neck, but they never aim for the fucking neck. And they never seem to be able to actually pierce through, like, all the way through. And then even then, they don't go all the way through, like, their fucking heart. You need to fucking aim for their fucking heart. Or their fucking neck, or their fucking head. You gotta get headshots, man. And then for guns, because they can heal faster and all of that, like, there's smallest chance that they might survive with normal bullets with a headshot. So just hit them twice. With normal fucking bullets. It's not that fucking hard. And you could do that maybe even with the heart. And then close range, a fucking machete through the neck. It solves everything. But obviously we're doing long range and not the hunters. And apparently we're also voting for the fucking werewolves and shit. So, and then, but even like, he fucking dates, and he learns how to fucking aim guns and use fucking arrows. So you're like, but he doesn't want to kill anyone. Bullshit. You would aim for the fucking legs and arms. Hello? They're so fucking stupid. And also, like, the whole... Because I'm like, he's fighting other mystical creatures, and then he ends up having to fight, like, hunters. And crap like that. And the hunters teach him how to hunt, basically, and how to use those tools. And also... but then he's like, oh, no, I just use my claws and teeth and growl. So, yes. And then, like, oh, you're using against humans and shit. So why don't you... Since you apparently just have claws... which are basically just fucking human hands with fucking nails, so you can use fucking guns. Okay? Then why the fuck didn't you use new normal guns against the fucking hunters? But I don't want to fucking kill, so don't aim for the fucking head. Especially since you're gonna probably miss anyway, because you're not gonna be that good of a shot. Like, your nails are gonna get a little bit in the way, but for the most part, not really gonna be the problem. Problem is just you don't have as much training, so you're gonna miss. So you're like, oh, but I aim for the heart, but I don't want to kill. You're gonna miss anyways, just shoot the fucking gun. The entire. And that's why I find solutions for everything, and that's why there would be no movies, and there would be no series, because I would find the solution to everything. It's called murder. Do it! And they never fucking do, and that's why I hate all the main characters. But the villain, unless they're a villain. Then they take my advice. My advice is murder and running. And they never fucking do it. And that's why they have so many fucking problems, and that's why there's a fucking story, and I hate them. And they need to die, and they deserve death. The villains need to win, and those heroes earn death over and over again. Because they're fucking morons, and they must die. Because they do not take my advice. And then they do, and then obviously that's how they become villains, and that's the reason we like them. And that's when we deal with them. We're like, and now we watch all the villains. Villains are right, and they take my advice, and they even go beyond my limits and my restrictions, and then we're like, yeah, I respect that, and I think you're valid, and I don't see any problems. That's fine. You went too far. That's fine. High five. Go for it. I don't care. Take them all out. Yeah. And so I'm really waiting for a season 2 of Redo Hero, but it hasn't come out yet, so I'm very sad. Because I just checked, and I'm like, no, why are you not out? You should be fucking out. Okay, and my music's still not playing, but sometimes it was distraction, sometimes it wasn't, and then now we're fiddling with our nails instead. I'm fucking cold. But we have more videos to make. Okay, power through. Okay, I mostly got through almost all the ideas that I've written down. Okay,